Can you talk a little bit about the significance of training and educating leaders for the future?
But I am more hopeful about the future. And one of the reasons I'm hopeful is not just because we're a very dynamic people and we're very entrepreneurial, and I think that's and innovative, and I think that will serve us well in the future. But I also sense in the next generation, the new generation that's coming up, uh, a rejection of a lot of the selfishness that and that is characterized, frankly, our own generation. You know, I don't think the baby boom generation and those of us who are preemies, I don't think we've served the country particularly well during our time at bat. But I do think that I think we're raising a new generation, and so maybe we can have some claim to goodness. But we're raising a new generation that I find quite promising. That is, the millennial generation, people are a little older, the X and the Y generation, they really don't accept the status quo. They want to see social change. And that does not mean they want to go work in government. Many of them are discouraged about working in government. It seems bureaucratic and sclerotic and broken at the federal level. But they do want to see social change, and they're willing to put their hearts and minds into it. So, and many want to go into nonprofits. I'm here at the Kennedy School at Harvard, and over a quarter of our students want to go into nonprofit organizations. That's encouraging. They'll take the lower pay, and everything else goes with it, but they like the satisfaction. If you talk now to employers, what they'll increasingly tell you in the search for talent, the hunt for talent, if you're running an organization, young people coming in today are saying, I want to come in here not just to do well, I want to do good. And if this organization doesn't stand for those values, and if they don't allow me an opportunity to do that, if we don't come out doing that, I don't want to work here. And that's a dramatic change from what we used to see. And frankly, it's embraced by women and men, and I think the young guys I know increasingly are huge defenders of women's rights. I mean, they're firm. And they're also most of the young people I know now. They think racism is like totally abhorrent, and they want to embrace diversity. They like diversity. They like living in more diverse societies. And I think I see a younger generation that is much more interested in service than people we've had recently. You can see it in a number of college campuses. You can look at the numbers of people who sign up, and from your own background at Morehouse and now at Boston University, there are a lot of young people, I'm sure, that come to your classroom who are really deeply committed. I was especially familiar with that when you were at Morehouse, and so. So that gives me a lot of hope. I'm not telling you that that they're the saviors yet. I think they still have to prove themselves, and we're leaving them one hell of a mess. But I do think that I see great promise there. So I have a lot of hope about the future. And I think one of the things we in the older generation must do, in addition to trying to address some of the things like climate change and inequality and broken government, and you can go down through the litany. I think one of our responsibilities is to nurture that next generation, to provide them more opportunities for service. I happen to be a great supporter of national service. I believe that we ought to encourage every young person between the ages of 18 and 24 to spend at least a year giving back to the country, working in some sort of social service project, often on poverty and trying to alleviate poverty and open up opportunities. And I believe that if we had a real commitment to national service, what you would find is that, like the World War II generation, when you serve early, when you recognize there are things bigger than yourself that you ought to be working on, you gain a sense of purpose in life, and that you may go off and go into a private business career for 20 years, but there's a much stronger likelihood you will come back in, serve later on, and that you will vote more often, you will have a voice in your community. That you will support people who actually want to make change, as opposed to have ideological food fights. And I see that now. I see social entrepreneurs, as we call them, coming up through our colleges and universities who want to go out and bring social change. And that's one stream of people. I'm on the board for Teach for America, among other things. And I just see an awful lot of young people coming who want to go teach in tough schools and volunteer. But there's another group that I'm really, really enthusiastic about and hopeful about, and that is the young men and women coming back and taking off their uniforms after serving in Iraq and Afghanistan and some faraway places. And by and large, the veterans community that's coming back is extraordinarily promising. They've had the best leadership training of anybody in our society. It's only about 1% of our population, but they're going to have an outsized influence. And I'm hopeful we can get more of them elected to city school boards, to, county councils, the United States Congress. I think the more you see, when I went to Washington back in the late 60s, early 70s, between 75 and 80% of the people in Congress and the House and Senate were veterans. Today that number's well less than 20%. And it makes a difference. If you fought under the same flag, it doesn't make any difference the other person's an R or D. The real thing is you went through something together and you believed in each other. And a lot of the reason people stay in is they don't want to go back to Iraq because they believe in the mission. They want to go back there because they want to protect their buddies.